So I've had the KTM for a while, maybe a year and a half. Nah, it's been closer to 2 years now. And it's a KTM 150, the Woods bike, EXCW or whatever. And just bought a Xtrainer, cross trainer, and it's the 300. And I'm an engineer, so I thought, I love engineering things. We'll do a little bit of a comparison on some of the engineering differences between the two. Not really in detail. I mean, we're not going to strip down a motor or anything, just superficial kind of stuff that you can see, that you can appreciate and just see the difference between the two. The 150 has been great, but I've started getting into a little bit of hard enduro stuff. And you can do it, but you got to be really on the clutch game there, and it just runs out of torque on some of the hilly stuff. It's a great bike, loved it. For trails riding, it's the secret weapon. That is probably in trails, it's hair scramble kind of stuff. Love it, love it. The Beta is just a torque monster. 300, so it's double the cc's, twice the power, and you can feel it. It is smooth, it is nice, it is phenomenal. Both of them's got little things about them that's annoying, but for the most part they're both great motorcycles. So let's get started. Well, we'll just do a walk around. Yeah, it's the KTM. I just took the light out because I cracked it. And I'm selling this one, so I thought while I still got it, we'll do a little comparison. For the most part, if you look at them, I mean, it's a dirt bike. It's got wheels, it's got handlebars, it's got the Beta is supposed to be about an inch lower than this, and I think it is, but I think they took it out of the suspension because the ground clearance is an inch lower as well. There's some stuff that I could clear on the KTM that I got to be careful with on the Beta. The triple clamps, noticeable difference. This has got, you can see it's a casting, and it's obviously custom. Just do a comparison. It's got a flowy shape, organic kind of, which is nice. Both the top triple clamp and the bottom. And on the Beta, shoot, I believe it's a casting. I don't think it's, well, no, that might be machined. That might be from billet. It's hard to tell. If it is cast, there's some machine marks on there, so maybe it's cast and then machined on top of that. But you can kind of see the difference. There's the Beta. That looks, there's definitely, I can feel machine marks on it, and this is definitely cast all the way around. So that should be cheaper. If that's billet, that's, well, it's just different ways of doing things. I think they're, let me take this bag off. I'm just gonna, there you go. While I'm at it, I'm going to take the seat off of both as well, because I want to dig a little deeper on the frame. Both of them is real easy to work on, 8mm pretty much everywhere. KTM is fuel injected, where the beta is carbureted. One of the reasons I did go to the beta is because of the carburetor, and it gives you the carb, makes it more crisp, real down low. And while I'm at it, I want to do the same to the KTM. And this one, it's got 2 bolts in the front. So the plastics on the KTM, I don't know what it is, but I've gone through the same. I mean, I had this KTM for 2 years. I put some new plastics on now, but the previous plastics were still fine. They were still good. I mean, I've had the beta out for 2 rides and I cracked the plastic already. Now the neighbor's kid didn't do me any favors either when he hit the tree. So he broke some, but I definitely broke some as well. And so because the KTM is fuel injected, you just have to unclip it. It's got a different clip on the fuel line. It's just a quick connect, which is kind of nice. It really, the fuel injection works pretty good, except at low RPMs. Right off the bottom throttle, it's got a blubber, blub, blub, pop, 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 pop. And that's what's nice about the carburetor. You can tune that out with the fuel injection. I'm sure you can tune it out, but you probably need to get in the computer. I don't know all that stuff. And because of the fuel injection, this takes a little bit longer on the KTM to disassemble. Okay. Now we can have a better look at the difference between the two. Let me get this closer. And we can kind of do get this closer so we can do a comparison. And right off the bat, you can tell there's a difference in the frame. The beta has got something similar to a trials bike frame on the Xtrainer. I don't think they've got the same frame on the race models, but see the tube frame, the double tube is different than the KTM's got 1 tube. That should give you more rigidity in the frame, which I and Klaas can tell. I don't really know, but I'm just showing the difference. With this, you got a clear view to the carburetor. You could probably work on the head. You could probably take the head off with the motor inside and see down in the piston and do whatever you need to do. On the KTM, there's this big frame in the way. You can still get to everything, but it's kind of tucked in there. Of course, I've never had to work on the KTM. It is phenomenal. This thing is reliable as crazy. Never touched the thing. Did bend the radiator. I did add a fan to it. It's a little dirty, so I need to clean that up. But now we can see the triple clamp, and you can see the difference between the casting. And this might be machined and polished, but it's definitely anodized. So that's anodized, not anodized. The difference in the frames. The radiators pretty much the same. Got a thermostat in this one, thermostat in that one. I added a fan. It didn't come with a fan, so I added a fan. Beta, the Xtrainer cross trainer, came with a fan by itself. The oil, it's oil injected on the 150, so the oil is in the frame. On the Beta, it's oil injected as well with the carburetor, and it's got a quick connect on the seat, so you can get the seat off pretty easily, one button as opposed to the screw, which is nice. You can pull that seat in a heartbeat, but you need to be able to do it because you need to fill up the oil reservoir in there. Everybody's saying Beta, you gotta put grease on all the connectors. I've done all that. So that's kind of superficial. We can just kind of go in between the side stand. We'll just look at some of this area now. Clutches on this side, pretty much standard. Carburetor. Side stand is kind of it's a casting, curvy, nice. So it's got a wide foot on it for the mud, or wider foot, and it's pretty nice. It might be, because of the lower suspension, it might be a little long, because sometimes he wants to tip over on the other side, but that's just find a lower spot. No big deal there. Tube frame, it's kind of this is an oval shape, so it's strong in this direction. The monocoque structure gives it strength in this direction, and then it's a triangulated or perimeter. It's called the perimeter frame. I just remembered. Of course, this one perimeterizes from here on back. Looking at, so that was the Beta in this area. KTM, Bigfoot, nice. Looks similar. It's a little bit of oiliness there. It's probably when I looped the chain last time. There's the throttle body, and the injection is right there. TPI, throttle, no, transfer port injection. So one injector on this side and one injector on that side. Never had any problems with that. It is bulletproof, phenomenal. Looking on this side, pretty much the same. Well, exhaust, brake. So this is kind of plain Jane. I did put a bigger tip on it, but you can see plain Jane compared to the Beta, and it's kind of, ooh, fancy. I did put a different tip on there, kind of modified it a little bit to give it more land. The slight difference. The Beta's got a composite subframe, and the KTM's got aluminum subframe. Never had a problem with the subframe. Probably hadn't dropped it hard enough, either one of them, on it yet. Beta's got the linkage suspension, where there's some more parts. You got the spring, the shock, and then there's the linkage down here that gives you some progressiveness. The KTM's got a progressive PDS suspension, progressive damping system. shock absorber, spring, everything goes straight onto the swing arm. There's no linkage that adds extra part and all that, but you have a progressive spring to do the same. So as the spring gets shorter, it gets stiffer. That's what progressive means. On the Beta, you accomplish that through the geometry of the linkages. Exhaust, pretty much the same. The KTM exhaust does seem a little bit, it's bigger, but it seems, I wanted to say it's flimsier. It dents real easy. Of course, it's not the same geometry, and I think it sits a little bit lower, so it tended to hit stuff easier than I do on the Beta. The Beta has got a very distinct, so this is the big difference. You can see this is akin to a trials pipe, which gives you a combination of that and what they're doing inside the engine gives you the torquiness. This is a torque monster. The KTM, it torques as well. For a 150, it's phenomenal. You can just lug it, but it's not. That's not its strength. You gotta get it up on the clutch a little bit more. Well, clutch a lot more to get the same out of this than you do get it out of the Beta. I think wheels. The wheels look the same. KTM, Beta is kind of dirty. Brakes, normal brakes, nothing different there. The suspension on the Beta is definitely softer. If I do, let me see if I can. And this is just there's nothing scientific about this, but it's kind of stiff on this one. So when you're trying to do the wheelies and all that, you got to really work it. On the Beta, you can tell it's a lot plusher, which is nice when you're trying to do tricky stuff on it. I mean, this thing just, you can move it around. It's really, but it's not, I think it progressively, it's got probably a high speed dampening and all that in it, because it is fine on the trails. I love this thing. People dog on the suspension, but to me this is phenomenal. It gives you the best of both worlds. If things get squirrely, you stand up. Triple clamp. This one's got double clamps. This one's got a little handlebars. That versus that, pretty much the same. Build quality, they're very similar. Swing arm, this one's coated. I don't know if well, it's fine. It looks nice. It looks classy, but I'm sure it'll scratch up after a while, which is fine. The KTM just bare. Now keep in mind, this is a 2019, so it's not the latest. I don't know what they did on the newer ones. Both electric start, really nice. Came off a YZ250 before this kickstart. Horrible, absolutely horrible. And well, we'll just do one more flyby, and that'll be cool. The only thing on the Beta, holy smokes, these plastics really suck. Beta, your plastics suck compared. Okay, that's it.